Peace, love, light, all things good to those of you tuning into the Unapologetic Nomads. I am Queen Nomad. Shout out to King Nomad and Princess Nomad out there. It's another lovely day here in Tanzania. And right now we are at Mojo's Kitchen in Sala Sala, Dar es Salaam. I have a special guest with me today. And this is part 2 of an amazing interview that we were doing just the other day, sitting on Cocoa Beach. And so my special guest is the one, the only, the amazing Miss Carol. Okay, Miss Carol, how are you today, sis?
I'm well. Thank you for inviting me. Glad to be here. Another good day in Dar es Salaam, Sala Sala.
That's right.
So thank you.
You are very welcome, and it's my pleasure. So I know in our last interview, we stopped at a certain question I think everybody was waiting on, and what they wanted to know, what I want to know, is how did you build community in South Africa and Tanzania, because you have had experience living in both places.
Yes, I have. And I want to say, first of all, that I first moved to South Africa, and I had a friend that introduced me to another friend, and that friend her name is Nola. So we were both retired nurses, and we both worked in California at the same time. She was in Southern Cal, I was in Northern California. We never met. But then South Africa, we met.
Wow.
And now we're very close. We just kind of connected when we first met. We had a lot to talk about, and then, I invited her to my house, she invited me to hers, and we just became close, very close friends. So, and recently I had a situation in South Africa that kind of left a bad taste in my mouth, but her family really embraced me. They welcomed me in because the place where I was living, I couldn't stay there. And so they just wrapped their arms around me, and it's like we were a blessing to each other. So yeah, we were, and her family was just really a blessing to me.
Awesome.
Yeah, so.
So how did you build community with the local? Were you welcomed into the local culture? How was that experience? Did you make friends with local?
With the local, yes, because she worked but she's South African.
Oh, she is.
Nola is South African.
Nice. Okay.
Her family was exiled, and so she grew up in California. And so you would think, because of the way she speaks, that she's not South African, but she's fluent, in Sotho. I want to say that right, Nola. She's fluent in Sotho, and she's very South African, very cultural. So yes, so that I was integrated into that culture. Like,
wow.
She helped me speak Zulu. She, taught me the ins and outs.
Wow.
I know all of her, not all of her family, but I know her family, and she knows mine, like, through the internet. But yeah, so that's how I got integrated, in the culture, because I was working in California, and then we met, and we just hit it off.
So you guys met before you even got there. You met someone from South Africa.
I met somebody from South Africa.
Wow.
So that was really, that was really a great experience.
Awesome. And so from there, did she kind of introduce you
and
to
then
other?
She introduced me to other people. I've been to the villages.
Oh,
and,
wow.
We've done, just a little bit of everything together. Again, she's the one that introduced me to Tasha's.
Oh, yeah, one of our favorite spots.
Oh, man, I tell you. So yeah, we spent a lot of time at Tasha's, her and her daughter. So yeah, it was very nice, very nice.
Very nice.
Yeah.
How about when you actually came to Tanzania? How did that work out? Were you able to build community, or how did that work for you?
Here in Tanzania, it was a little bit different. I knew people from the U.S. that also moved to Tanzania.
Okay.
So it was a little bit different, but just getting out into the community, and then when you meet somebody, then you kind of get attached. And then, of course, at the Unde apartments, that's family right there.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
Shout out to Unde again.
Shout out to
yeah, shout out to Unde. And even though it's a lot of Americans there, it's a lot of people that are Tanzanian. So,
right.
So we've connected.
So it is a mixed community there.
It's a mixed community.
That are from here, people
from there,
right?
yes, yes.
Wow. So what are some similarities or differences that you've noticed in how Black people live and are treated in Africa versus the U.S.?
Wow. You know what they say, people are the same all over the world, but we as African Americans and Africans, we have a lot of culture that is the same. I'm going to give you an example. Nola she messes around, played around a lot. So she was saying, hey, is that your own? And I was like, what did you say? And she said, hey, is that your business? And so I'm like, because we're just kidding around.
Yeah.
So then she explained it was from a saying like Nigerians say, is that your own or is that your business? And I said, you know what? My son-in-law says the same thing. But not with the accent, he says, don't touch so-and-so stuff because that's his own. Do you know that? So that came from Nigeria. The things that we experience and we think that is, it's like you're thinking, oh, is that ours? Our own sayings, but they come from somewhere.
But could it be that there's just things that happen at the same time in different places? Is that possible? Do you think?
Because I've seen too many cultures. I mean, not too many, but some.
Because we do have our own sayings.
We do have our own sayings, but as African Americans, this is the soil where we're from, and a lot of things are the same. Another example, I saw this person, he was doing like, I can't do it, but he did his hands like that, and that's like a cultural thing, right? My brother used to do that when we were growing up. He never traveled to South Africa, but it's like, it's his thing. I'm like, And I had never seen that, and it's like, that I thought that was unique to him. But no, I came over here, and I've seen it many times. They do it, like, as an expression. So I'm like, okay. Okay, so, as far as living in the different areas and being treated, I really feel like not just South Africa, but Africa and Tanzania both, that we live simple for the most part, and we're treated well here in South Africa and in Tanzania. We're treated well, and I find that we treat each other well. Here,
Both places.
In both places, yes, actually in both places. So that's why I was saying people are the same all over the world, but not everybody. But we, as a culture, as a people, we are. So I'd say it's the same.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'd say it's the same.
So, how has your view of the world changed since retiring and relocating to the continent of Africa?
I really say that I should have come sooner. Definitely should have come sooner. I did have my passport early in life, but I traveled a lot to the Caribbean, and so I hadn't really ventured out to the continent of Africa. But I say I should have come sooner, and I think I would have had a different worldview, a different worldview even earlier in life. And as far as understanding that the world is our oyster. We can live and wherever. We don't have to grow up and stay in one place and say, I was born and raised in California, So yeah, we can be welcomed all over. and we can live all over. And I say, get your passport, start traveling.
All right. I was going to ask you, you know, are there some life lessons from your experience that you'd like to pass on to the younger generations?
Absolutely.
So, okay.
That's number one. Get your passport, start traveling. I think they already know as young kids, they don't tolerate staying on a job for 30 years and all that. I know you guys got that part. Get you a business, be creative. Understand that, again, the world is open to you and will welcome you with open arms. So, yeah, get your passports. It doesn't have to be Africa. It doesn't have to be South Africa. It doesn't have to be Tanzania. It's 54 countries here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and on the continent, there's other places, you know, Asia, Philippines, South America, where, you know. So just get out there. Just get out there. And don't stay on a job and work like necessary for 30 years. Yeah, just be good to yourself. Be really good to yourself. Yeah.
And it doesn't even have to be a long time. You can visit, you know, travel.
Oh, yeah, just
nothing
travel.
wrong with traveling.
No,
nothing wrong with traveling.
Nothing at all.
Experiencing life and seeing the world.
Yes.
What would you say to other retirees, especially Black Americans who are thinking about moving to Africa?
Just do it. Stop. Yeah, stop procrastinating. Stop saying, you know, I'm going to do a little bit more research. At some point, the research stage has to be over, and then you have to step your feet in the water and just kind of, you know, like you say, just come visit. It doesn't have to be a big move. That, you know, just come visit.
Come visit. All right.
Yeah.
And is there anything you wish that you had known before making the move that you did? Anything you wish you had known?
Yeah, I wish I'd known what I know now, that it's okay to put your foot out there and just, you know, travel. So I wish I'd known earlier instead of, because I was a little scary, you know, in the Caribbean, close to the States.
Okay, so you have mostly just traveled from the States to the Caribbean?
Yes, that was
the past.
in the past.
Okay.
Yeah,
So it's your first time on a different continent.
Yeah, well, not the first time.
Okay.
But almost first time. I went to Zambia once.
Okay.
I think I did that.
Awesome. Shout out to Zambia. Our people over there. That's right.
That was my very first visit. So, yeah, Zambia was my very first visit. But after that, you know, I really started, you know, wanting to step out more. So I say to the retirees, just come and just visit.
All right. And do you think Africa is a good place for older Black Americans to thrive and feel valued?
I think so. And yeah, as a retiree here, I really do feel valued. I feel better about, say for instance, when we get older, we think, oh, is there a doctor there? I have to be close to my doctor. You know, my medication and all this stuff. Just come visit. You're gonna find that those medications that you were taking, no more. The, you know, the different ailments and things like that, you know, you're hurting, they get less and less. You start to walk everywhere, you start to exercise, you start to feel better. You just really, the environment, the whole setting.
So would you say your health is better since you've been here? Your health?
I would say my health is improved.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I would say my health is improved overall. I've lost weight.
You look great.
Thank you. I've lost weight and I do exercise. But I've always exercised, but I do it more as an older person. Because when we get older, we kind of have a tendency to kind of slack off. But no, yeah.
All right.
So,
and then the cost of things, like, you know, when you have to get your groceries and things you need and whatnot, how would that compare here to the US? The spending, cost of living?
Yeah.
Would you say it's better?
I'd say it's better. You need to always budget, you know, wherever you go. You stay away from the local, not the local, but the mainstream.
For expats, Okay, the expat,
Yeah, where the
grocery
expats
stores,
go,
supermarkets.
the expat, they've got prices for you, sister. But you just stay away from those. You know, buy local. You know, eat local. Buy your food like every 2-3 days, and it's always fresh. Yeah. So, but the prices are much more reasonable. You can live very well on. I wouldn't say a small amount, but a reasonable amount. Yeah. The regular retirement that we get, you know, you can live comfortable.
All right. Awesome. Okay. So how did you enjoy your food here at Mojo's?
I'm so full I can't pay attention, girl. But seriously though, yeah, it was really good. I had fish and I had a side salad. And then I had some fried okra.
Yes, that was good.
The
Very
bomb,
good.
the
Very
bomb.
Good.
Now I'm drinking fresh squeezed juice. It is, one sip.
Is that a mix? Did they mix it
It's
like
a mix.
mango?
It's a mango, cucumber.
Wow.
I taste turmeric in, a little bit of turmeric in there.
Right, the taste was good.
Yeah, and apple.
Apple, wow.
And apple.
Nice.
And it's good. And not a bunch of water. This is like juice.
Juice.
And they put a little ice cube in there, which is okay. I usually don't. But fresh squeezed juice is awesome.
Awesome, it is.
Yeah.
Love the fresh food here. Fresh food. Yes.
Love the fresh food.
So any last thoughts, anything you want to share?
Just thank you for having me.
Oh,
Michelle, you're just so wonderful.
It's
I
my
appreciate it.
pleasure. It's my
She's like,
pleasure.
oh, I got a special guest. I'm like, girl. But seriously though, but thank you though. I really appreciate
I
it.
appreciate it too.
And just shout out to my family. I love you. Yaya is just out here enjoying, you know, and come and visit me soon.
All right.
They're gonna, but and not just my family, but those that are thinking about it really.
Okay.
Come visit.
Right. And has your family been here yet?
No.
Okay, all right.
Not yet.
Get your passport.
Yeah. They all have their passport.
Oh, wonderful. All right.
They all have their passport, and I
Nice.
cannot reiterate enough. I know the line is long now to get your passport, but just do it anyway. Just apply for it. Just do it. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Just do it anyway, because it's
Definitely.
yeah.
Definitely.
You won't regret it. You will not regret it.
So I want to thank you guys for tuning in, and I hope you've enjoyed this interview and you have been able to pick up some gems that Ms. Carol has dropped here today. I want to thank her for her time and for her energy. And please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't done so. And we'll see you on the next one. Peace and love.